Hello and welcome to another edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Right off the bat on the old show today, the McLaren 675 LT, aka the Longtail. This particular machine was a little bit lighter weight, in fact over 200 pounds lighter than the 650S, not to mention a little bit more brake horsepower, 25 in fact, to make 666 brake horsepower out of its 3.8 twin turbocharged V8 engine. McLaren was only going to build 500 of these, and if you were wanting to get your grubby little hands on this particular machine, you're too late. According to Bold Ride, they're actually out of stock. All 500 have been spoken for, and McLaren has no plans of building more of this. The 675 LT is sold out. Next up on the list, Chrysler, or I should say Fiat Chrysler Automobiles, is actually showing off the brand new ACR. Yes, we saw this back at the SEMA show back in November of 2014. They were showing off a concept piece about this, and now it is officially here. This is the brand new ACR, and we'll talk about the carryover parts where we talk about a lot of the other Viper group, including that TA 2.0, which was the top of the tree until this machine came along. Comes with a 8.4 liter normally aspirated V10 making 645 brake horsepower and 600 pounds-feet of torque. That is shifted through a TR660 Tremec 6-speed manual transmission with all the power going to the rear wheel. 0 to 60 comes in at just over 3 seconds with a top speed of 193 miles an hour. Now, as far as the TA 2.0 versus the ACR, well, the resemblance is only a little bit, because look at that massive front splitter, the huge front lips in front, right below the front wings, not to mention that massive rear wing out back. Super sticky rubber, Brembo carbon ceramic brakes on all four corners, adjustable struts all the way around. This machine is track ready. In fact, this is probably one of the most track-ready machines that you can buy on the market. Now, Fiat Chrysler Automobiles has yet to announce pricing or availability. I'm assuming this vehicle is going to be somewhat of low production. But there is an interesting little rumor floating about. Apparently, this ACR package may be a part of the one-to-one package. If you remember from shows past, the Viper Group and Fiat Chrysler Automobiles actually put together a one-to-one package, put a massive amount of paint colors that were available on the Viper, not to mention striping colors, and apparently there was a mind-blowing amount of combinations that you could do. And anytime you picked any color to go on this particular machine, whether it be the striping, whether it be the paint finish itself, that color was removed from the palette list for that particular machine for that particular year, which would mean that you could have a one of one as far as your machine's concerned. So it's kind of interesting if they're going to do it to this particular car. I haven't heard that officially. Again, we talked about the TA 2.0, which costs just a touch under $110,000 US. Assuming this vehicle is going to go for quite a bit more than that. We'll keep you in tune when we hear availability and official pricing. That'll be coming down the list very soon. Next up on the list, another very track-focused automobile is shown off by the folks over at Audi, and this is going to be shown off at a very special tuner car event that happens in Austria every year. Massive car show. And this particular machine, Volkswagen Group always sends something very, very cool, and this is the machine of choice for this particular year. It's the 2015 Audi TT Clubsport Turbo Technology Concept. Now, a lot is in that name, but let's talk about the real goodies. It comes with a 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, making 600 brake horsepower and 479 pounds-feet of torque. 0 to 62 comes in at 3.6 seconds with a top speed of 193 miles an hour, and all of that power is shifted through a 7-speed sequential gearbox, and it's gone through all 4 wheels. Now, the vehicle only weighs just a touch over 3,000 as far as its curb weight is concerned, which means it's very lightweight. But let's go back to that name, that turbo technology concept. The folks over at Audi and Volkswagen Group are actually working on electric turbochargers, something that's been fairly successful in their diesel programs, but they're actually trying to put a gasoline petrol version together, and they're working on that technology, and this vehicle is going to showcase that particular technology, even though Audi ought to try to build maybe a somewhat calmer, cooler version of this thing for the street. This thing is pretty doggone close to a full-blown race car. Can actually run this on the street. But boy, what a production version of this be super cool. Last up on the list, well, it's 2 weeks from today that the Great American Race, the Indianapolis 500, will take the green, and taking those cars to green on the formation laps is going to be this chap. This is NASCAR driver Jeff Gordon, probably one of the most popular and the most, well, successful NASCAR racers of all time. Not completely, but pretty doggone close. Mr. Gordon's had a fantastic career, and he's hanging it up at the end of the 2015 season. He will be retired from NASCAR competition, and he's going to have a busy day. Going to be doing all the pomp and circumstance ahead of the Indianapolis 500, do the pace car laps, and then he's hopping on a plane and heading to Charlotte, North Carolina, where he will start his Cup car at the NASCAR Coca-Cola 600, which will happen later that evening, the evening that the Indianapolis 500. One of the greatest racing days in the calendar. You got the Monaco Grand Prix early in the morning, here in the United States at least. Indianapolis 500 midday, Coke 600 in the evening. Going to be a heck of a racing weekend. And a great little send-off. Mr. Gordon's going to be driving this 650 brake horsepower, 650 pounds-feet of torque, 6.2 liter supercharged V8 Corvette Z06. And they're going to be a handful of these that are actually going to go into customers' hands as they do every year. The Indianapolis 500 is only 2 weeks away. In fact, we're only just a week away from pole qualifying, and then the race will happen the week after. So a lot of cool things happen around the Indianapolis, Indiana area heading up in the next several weeks. And that's all there was that I thought was worth talking about for this edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. If you want to jump on over to the Facebook page, the link's down in the show notes. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at any time and get the first dibs on the brand new shows as soon as they come out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon.